We're a long way from the days when the internet was about vanilla porn and cat videos and pictures. We are now to the point where the internet, far more so than even 5 years ago, is now a place of disrepute. We have a lot of people here who use the internet for nefarious and malicious means. They are a malignant tumor on the ass of humanity many times. Not just the people trying to dox myself, my family, but the Star Citizen fans who threaten to murder family members of critics or rape them, or people like this. This video was posted last month during Pride Month by Rizzy Draws. Now, Rizzy is a gay man living in a country that is homophobic. And as much as I harp on sometimes about how much I despise how gays in many Western democracies complain, bitch, and moan about how they're mistreated even though they have many of the same rights, and how people saying mean things is tantamount to them being hung from a tree or tossed off a roof. Rizzy actually faces a truly homophobic country. He wakes up every day in a country that hates him for his sexual orientation. And he can't come out openly about it like people in the United States or Western Europe can. It's far worse than living in Russia or China. See, Rizzy lives in Indonesia. Indonesia, while considered a more liberal and moderate Islamic country, is still 90% Muslim. And many Islamic countries, according to Sharia law, put gays to death. We've seen the videos from live leaks and the like of Muslims in Pakistan, the Gaza Strip, Iran, etc., throwing gay people off of roofs to their deaths. They tie their hands behind their backs and then poof, they're gone. I jokingly used to say, along as did Count Dankula, that there's a line in the Quran that's commonly forgotten: throw the poof off the roof. But it's not really a joke, because that's literally what they do. This, what happened to Rizzy, is an absolute shit show. Rizzy posted this webcomic, and you can see in the last panel that he makes it very clear that he is talking about Islam, its influence in his country, and how he cannot be openly gay because if he does, he's afraid. He's legitimately afraid for his life and for his family if he comes out as gay. And people didn't like that. People didn't like that he essentially insulted Islam. That is what I am taking away from this, because what happened to him, it is the only logical conclusion. The other obvious conclusions are that it's some troll on the internet who did this, but no troll is going to go through the time it takes to find out some random guy's address, contact information, what country he lives in, and then forward it to his country's government. But we'll get to that in a sec. CalArts ended up posting this thread. A few weeks ago, we shared a comic from Rizzy Draws on the plight of a gay bro in a country hostile to gay bros. While the hot takes and reaction to him were spicy, the outpouring of support from y'all was cool as fuck, which makes the news I'm about to share suck that much more. Those of you who also follow Rizzy know that a few days ago he locked down his account after posting a message saying he had to go. This is due to some people who did not like him forwarding his information to authorities in order to out him and his government. And the screenshot, Rizzy says, "I'm going away now. Thanks for everything. I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry that I can't draw really well. I'm sorry for everything I've drawn that upset the people whom I treasure the most. It appears that someone has my IRL address and they already sent it to my country's authorities. I guess I won't gonna make it after all. I'm sorry, but it appears this will be the end of me." Once again, Indonesia is not exactly friendly to homosexuals. It's not to the point of Iran and Pakistan, but even Wikipedia says that many of the provincial governments tend to use these indecency laws to punish gays. The local authorities will routinely fine or imprison gay people for being gay. The northwesternmost province of, I think it's pronounced Aceh, ACEH, someone from Indonesia or someone who knows can correct me if you want, will routinely punish gays with 100 lashes. Asha, or whatever it's called, I don't even know, came to prominence last year or the year before when they lashed a man and a woman caught having sex out of wedlock. An Imam Tahiti, an Australian imam, offered to take the lashings for the couple. Imam Tahiti, by the way, follow him because he's a great guy. He's an actual caring individual. He is a good guy. So somebody had Rizzy's address and they forwarded it to his country's authorities in order to shut him up. And why? Once again, the only option that's really available that makes sense is because a regressive leftist in the West, such as in the United States or Europe, or a devout conservative Muslim didn't like that this gay man was insulting Islam. I say regressive leftist elements because if you're on the far left, you have this hierarchy of victimhood where Islam is at the very top and everybody under it, they can be punished if they offend the group that's higher on the victim totem pole, so to speak. Continuing on. Followers on here know that this is not a unique situation and is a rather popular tactic by a certain group. He's talking about communists in this post, but it's not communists that went after Rizzy here. There's been an update to Rizzy's situation, and I'm afraid that it's not one that he'll be able to share himself. After his information was forwarded by internet folk, in order to curb government harassment of him and his family, Rizzy decided to take his own life. According to a family friend, he ingested some household chemicals and has severe liver, kidney, and intestinal damage he is not likely to recover from. Apparently the chemical was bleach. The man literally drank bleach to protect his family from the harassment of a homophobic government. Okay, so all you people saying that Texas is homophobic, Arkansas is homophobic because they won't issue you a marriage license, or because they don't have whatever law that you want, fuck off, because this is an actual homophobic country. This is an actual homophobic government. That gays are actually afraid, so afraid that they try and commit suicide to protect loved ones. The outlook may be grim, and I know a lot of people out there aren't exactly the praying type, but please keep Rizzy in your thoughts, and I will echo that. You don't have to be the praying type in order to keep someone in your thoughts and hope they get better. I'm not much of the praying type myself, but I am legitimately hoping, praying that Rizzy gets better. I'll be keeping tabs on the situation and will update with what can be shared should the situation change, hopefully for the better. Trying to word this in a way that doesn't sound morbid. The offers are very generous, but please hold off on donations for his recovery and expatriation at this time in case it might not be necessary, meaning he fucking dies. As an update, family friend is informing me that Rizzy is apparently either out of or will soon be coming out of surgery. Still awaiting clarification from the family friend on Rizzy's prognosis. Minor bit of a language barrier to work with, along with the understandable delay in communication. Obviously, family has to come before internet strangers, so please bear with us. Clarification, Riz is still being operated on. Operation has gone well for the most part. He has widespread minor tissue damage, which comes from drinking bleach. Normally it's burning of the lung tissue, the esophageal tissue, the stomach lining, and even the intestines, and essentially your digestive tract is severely burned. It's a very caustic chemical. That's why bleach is, it's not a fun way to go from everything I've heard. But some severe permanent organ damage. Apparently it's to the extent that one of his kidneys will no longer be functional. Once again, kidney is kind of important to your endocrine system, and when you drink something like this, it is going to affect the liver and kidneys. To clarify some things, the family knows who did this and are trying to contact the authorities in their respective countries on what the legal recourse is. They're out for blood, according to the family friend. Yeah, I'd be out for fucking blood too. Details are not being shared on these individuals as, like he said, they're still seeking a legal recourse against the people who hurt their son. And yes, there is evidence of what they did to Rizzy. Like all super clever hooligans, they recorded themselves doing it. Because these people are narcissists. It's like dealing with Zoom. It's like dealing with any of these stupid motherfuckers who think that doxing people and attempting to hurt them in any way, shape, or form is funny, is quality entertainment. It's a narcissistic personality. It's a sociopathic personality. It's all about them and what they're doing for their own amusement. Riz is presently about to finish surgery. He will need to be kept in recovery and observation for a week, after which his family will take him to his grandparents' place that's off the grid where he will be safe. If Riz passes through this week, this is going to be, and I'm talking as someone who has no medical training but spoke to an ICU doctor. If he makes it through the first 3 days, his chances of surviving, despite the complications, will go up substantially. The first 3 days are the worst because he has the bleach still in him. There's still trace amounts throughout his system. He's got the surgery that is freshly done, infection. You're talking about a long road to recovery, but if he survives, if he can get through the first 3 days, he's much better off. And once he gets through the first week, the week that he's in the ICU and being watched, far better. I pray that Rizzy recovers and that he'll be okay. And I'm going to say this right now. Rizzy, if you ever watch this, get to a Western consulate or embassy. And I mean American, British, French, German. It doesn't matter. One of these countries that protects the rights of gay people and request asylum, seek asylum. A lot of consulates, when they hear about what happened to you, they'll grant it. You are somebody who deserves asylum. That your government, the attitude of your government towards homosexuality would force you to feel, let me rephrase, the inaction of your government or the actions of your government that would make you think that the only way to protect your family is to kill yourself because you're gay. That's an asylum claim, and that's one that probably holds a lot of weight. I doubt any country would deny it to you. To the fuckers who did this, who think they're funny, the sociopaths, the overused prison fucktoys, whose best contribution at this point to humanity would be by leaving it, preferably by drinking bleach and not seeking medical help. You are the problem here. You are the problem. I don't care if you're an alt-right figurehead who thinks that homosexuality is a sin. I don't care if you're Westboro Baptist Church. I don't care if you're an alt-right figurehead like Mike Enoch. Not saying that Mike actually agrees with this idea, but I do understand that he is not a fan of the gays. Whether you're a regressive leftist who believes that insulting Islam because it's higher on the totem pole of victimhood, that this is acceptable. Whether you're a devout Muslim, just because he's critical of something does not mean that he deserves death. Had he gone out and actually started killing the homophobic Muslims? Absolutely. You know what? Now he's acted. And there's a difference. There is a difference between saying something and having criticism and acting on it. And the law makes that very clear in the United States, which is why we're the best country in the world when it comes to freedom of speech. Riz, I hope you get better. I really do. And your family, if there's no legal recourse, out this motherfucker. Put this motherfucker on blast. Everything you have. I don't support doxing in the least. But there are times when it's very difficult to rectify or to, it's very difficult for me to say I don't support it when it's someone like this, when it's someone who actually thinks that getting somebody to kill themselves is acceptable. Someone like that Ross character who is an admitted pedophile who is now working with kids. I'm all for doxing that person. Someone like this, dox them. And I realize exactly what kind of a hole I'm putting myself in by saying this. But I don't care. I don't care, because this was a good man who was driven to this point. Everybody hope at the very least, pray if you will, for his recovery and that he will survive. This man did nothing wrong.